What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Today we're taking a look at a pretty sleek knife from the minds of GiantMouse. Now, I will do my absolute best to be objective on this one, but I can go ahead and tell you this is not a knife for me. But I will give you guys just the same rundown that I usually do, and we'll try to try to get this one taken care of the best way I can. So it is a pretty sharp looking knife, I'll give you that. It has some really great looks, but for me it is just way too thin. I'm not a huge fan of the kind of the super thin CEO style, gentleman style, whatever, unless they have a flipper. Even thumb stud ones are usually a little too difficult for me personally to actuate. Now again, this is personal opinion and it is personal experience. Your mileage is most likely going to vary unless your hands are like mine and half crippled and fat. I mean, unless it's that, then you might love the knife. A little bit of specs here. We're looking at a 3.26 inch cutting edge. 7.43 overall, 2.2 ounces. MagnaCut steel, they said they run it at approximately 62. They don't give a range, they just say approximately 62. And then you're looking at $285. It is an Italy-made knife. Of course, being GiantMouse, a lot of their stuff, or I mean, it may even be all their stuff, is Italian-made. Now, I did a little bit of looking on this knife. You can find it directly from the GiantMouse website, and they offer a 10% off code if you sign up for their email stuff. So it may be the best way to go about getting one, unless you can get one from like White Mountain or wherever that you may already have a code for. But yeah, that being said, let's jump right on into the close-ups on this thing, and then just kind of dig into everything else from there. So slab-sided titanium, nothing too crazy. You do have some really nice chamfering here all around. The edges is nicely rounded off. Some nice milled out spots here for your thumb to go for a just like a slow roll or a thumb flick. Lanyard hole on a about a quarter length backspacer with a little bit of jimping there on the backspacer. You do have lefty love. It looks like it is all T8 hardware. It certainly is. Now it does have the single-sided hardware, so you don't have the hardware on either side. For your main body screws, pocket clip of course is reversible. Standard wire pocket clip works really well. Standard single cutout there for your lock bar relief. Typical frame lock, nothing insane. You do have a double-sided pivot or double-tooled pivot. So I'm assuming it's probably still D-shaped. I wish companies that used D-shaped pivots would stop double tooling. There's really no need to do that if you have a D-shaped pivot. But yeah, nonetheless, let's go ahead and let's look at while we got it closed there. The centering is spot on. Lockup is very good. It's nice and early. You do have some chamfering there, or some scalloping there on the lock bar. Got out very. You've got very good lock bar access, but because it's so thin, it's still kind of hard for me to get in there. But that scalloping does help with grabbing a hold of your thumb and allowing you to get that lock bar out of the way. A really nice satin MagnaCut blade here. Super pointy. You can see that there. I mean, this thing is needle-like. You've got a swedge here on the back side of the blade, which is very interesting. Semi-crowned spine, so it is not perfectly crowned. There is some sharp edging along the side, but it is rounded here at the top. Jimping there about halfway, or about a quarter way down the blade. You got your pill-shaped hole there. A absolutely atrocious plunge grind. You can see it actually continues on into the blade. So it's, I mean, you can actually see the sharpening there is already into that plunge grind. But you do have a sharpening choil, so that does at least make it somewhat easy to sharpen. But yeah, it's gonna create a smile. Whether that bothers you or not, it's up to you. Sharpening itself though looks pretty daggone good. Kind of wouldn't expect anything less on a $300 knife. Definitely looks good. That tip looks to be pretty even. Let's go ahead and take a look at that here. Yep, tip is very well done. It is close as I can tell to being perfect. Branding is very minimum. You just have the Ace on this side here and the MagnaCut. Nothing on the show side of the blade. Well, if you're right-handed, nothing on the show side of the blade. Action, pretty stellar. I mean, it's for such a tiny little blade, it works. It works really well. You know, when you can figure out how to hold the knife and what to do with it, it works really well. Like I said, the action's really great. I'm not going to lie on that. You can slow roll it. I don't know if I'll be able to thumb flick it. Let me try. I can thumb flick it. My biggest problem with this knife is it just feels odd in my hand. Again, I can only give you my experience with it with my hand. It does feel a little on the small side in my hand. Yeah, so that being said, it's not one personally that I would pick up. But if you do like these thin knives, you're going to love this knife. The chamfering around the edges does give it some, pretty good comfort. And it's such a small knife, it does disappear in your hand. The jimping's in the right spot, at least for my hand. Fairly functional. Could be better, could be worse. So it's definitely not the worst I've ever dealt with. Pocket clip. It's a wire pocket clip. They very rarely create hot spots. And this one in my hand, it kind of tucks in out of the way, so no real issues there with that. Again, just for me, excuse me, I'm so sorry. For me, it's harder for my hand to feel comfortable gripping such a thin, skinny blade. I kind of get away with it a little bit on some slip joints, just because they are usually a little more rounded. And so it has a different feel to it. And this one just doesn't feel as secure for me. And then, like I said, for me, my thumb is a little on the fat side to get in there and easily get that lock bar out of the way. It just seems a little more difficult, again, for me. I've heard a lot of guys, especially this is from the pass round, a lot of other guys in the pass round absolutely love this thing and have zero problems with it. So again, if it's something where you're used to the thinner blades like that, you're not going to have an issue with it, I don't think. That being said, price tag, Italy made, that's usually going to drive the price up a little bit. I mean, for the materials and everything, it's not unheard of. Definitely not going to hurt yourself at all. But again, if you can save some money on it, do it. Get that 10% off. Use a junk email, whatever. Sign up for that 10%. Or like I said, if you can pick these up from White Mountain or anywhere else where you can get a discount code. But overall, build quality feels fine. I mean, GiantMouse, especially with their Ace line, does a fantastic job. And like I said, the action, you can't deny it. You guys can see it right here. Action is great. Just again, if you're like me and you're not a huge fan of the super thin knives, this is probably one that's not even on your radar anyway. I don't know why I keep talking about it, but yeah. Other than that, it's a good looking knife, very pokey, very pointy. Magna cut. It's Magna cut, so it's going to hold an edge pretty well. This thing has been through the pass around a little ways, and it still feels nice and tacky there on the edge. No real issues there. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel really any issues or anything. I don't see any glinting on the edge, so it doesn't look like it's rolled or anything like that. We'll go ahead and take a look at the hardware here. Again, we should be all T8 hardware all the way around, so let's go ahead and take a look there. Very well done. Let's see, that was grabbing a hold of my screwdriver there. No play on that one. No play on that one. Let's take a look at this one. Again, grabbing a hold of that screwdriver bit. And that's it. So very good job on that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is this something that you've had your eyes on? Or is this just one that is kind of meant for you like it is for me? But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments. As always, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Take care.